What's going on, guys? It's Corruption here with another gameplay. Here I am at about Plat 3, Plat 2 ELO range, and I'm duo queued with my friend Claptrap. He's playing Leona this game. He's a super good support. It's probably his main role, I'd say, and I love playing with him, especially as Leona. Ashe is very unique because as an AD carry, she provides a very supporty role, which is really hard to find in AD carry anymore. Now they just make them for straight damage output, which I don't like as much. I went on about an 11 or 12 game win streak with Ashe, so I decided I might as well put up a video of me winning with her. Spoilers. So yeah, this game ends up going pretty well. To start off, it's pretty rough though. I just like to farm early as Ashe, and I actually, because I have Leona, I was trying to push out, because an early level 2 on Leona is a happy Leona. But unfortunately, they do hit level 2 before us, which puts us in a very bad situation. But Claptrap is good enough to get me out of most of the situations. My team is built super well around me. We have a whole ton of peel, and I don't really have an escape. But with any help, I get out of almost any situation. I got Frost Shot level 2 this game. I do like to get Hawk Shot sometimes, but I got Frost Shot just because I had a Leona and I knew that we would like to go hard level 2, and also to help us disengage if we got caught. The early game is pretty slow. We just farm, go back and forth. I know Tristana will be strong late game, but as will I. So I'm just kind of waiting down and seeing. Here's the first gank of the game. Elise is coming down. So Claptrap actually flashes in the stun, and I flash volley to get the kill. It was a little greedy on my part, but I knew I could get it, and I ended up getting it, so it made it all worth it, even though it was risky. Now I'm going to make my first back, and on this back I go, I believe, Averse Blade. Yeah, I go Averse Blade and Crystalline Flask. I got these items because Average Blade works super well with the new passive on Hawkshot. Hawkshot used to scale with level, and now it's just 3 flat when you have it. So right now, every creep kill I get, I'm getting an extra 5 gold, which is actually ridiculous when you think that the caster creeps are only worth 13 gold in the first place. So I'm getting about a creep and a half for all the casters. This lane really is just more farming. The junglers are really making like higher impacts in other lanes, but they do like to come in once in a while. There's just more poking going on, more farming. And yeah, I like to get the flask because Ashe is very mana hungry if you're playing her correctly, in my opinion. And I also don't get any sustain until much later in the game, health-wise. So I just love to have that early flask. I only usually get that when I'm ahead, because it's a pretty high gold investment, but if I'm ahead, I always make sure to get that. Here's another small engagement. Leon has really nice disengage form, ends up getting the kill with Ignite, and then we just get out fine. That's just a really good part about Leona, is that she can disengage so well. And here Amumu comes down, but he knows he can't touch us. I'm 6 and Claptrap's 5. This is a pretty interesting part. So Elise starts a fight over there, and I notice it's not going too well for her. She goes up in spider form. I make sure to ult, so it hits Tristana, and then she gets a 3 kill. And then during all this, I can just push the lane while they bully Amumu out. So this gives me a super huge lead because I got an assist on that Tristana. I'll also get free farm, because actually at this time I'm down 9 farm, which is ridiculous and it should not happen. But I wasn't playing very well early game, so I gave up a whole lot of farm I shouldn't have. And I'm just tanking the creeps just to keep it pushed up when Trist is gone, so she'll miss more XP. I'm gonna tank a little bit of Thresh, hit tower a bit, and then go back to buy. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna push out this next wave and then go buy. And when I go back, it's one of the best things about Ashe. Not that, obviously, but I think that one of the most useful parts about Ashe, like I said earlier, is her utility and her supporty role. And I can showcase it here. I spawn, I see mids going pretty hard, so I just throw an ult down just to see if anything can happen. I don't know if I'm hitting or not. It turns out it does hit and gives Akali a free kill on Zed. So that's a 100% free kill that there's no way we would have gotten otherwise. And that's one of the reasons I just love Ashe as a carry. We'll speed it back up till I get back to lane. Yeah, I go back and try to help a dragon. I'm too late, so I just kill the ward, zone him off. Time to just go back to farming. I finally caught up to Tristana, and I'm just trying to gain the lead on her in gold. As of right now, my average blade is giving me an extra 200 and a hawk shot an extra 120. So that means I've gotten like over 300 gold from those two items, which is pretty high. It pays for my crystalline flask, which is pretty crazy. So we saw a Mumu down here, so we backed off because we had a ward in this brush, which I always like to have, just in case someone does try to sneak up and do something cheeky. Yeah, we had it warded, we saw him, and now here comes a team fight. My team peels for me super well because they group up to where Mumu's gonna ult, and they help me get out of range of this ult. And then another really good thing that happens here is I get all of the kills. I have to flash again to get it, but I got red buff and a triple kill, which at this point, it was just really bad news for their Tristana, because their Tristana was doing very, very well against me, but at this point, she knows that she's just I have an insurmountable lead. And we just push more. I believe that we just push the tower more. I think we get tower, though. So yeah, that's just an early... I just try to start slow and then collapse on people's mistakes. I do make a lot of mistakes this game, though. Their claptrap gets caught, and I go to help. I get caught as well. Thresh lands a really nice play there. It was also stupidity on my part, but Thresh gets a free kill because he flashed in front of Tristana, and I couldn't do anything. That was well played by Thresh and poorly by me. Speeding up until I spawn again. I go back to lane now. Now I just flat bought an Infinity Edge, as well as getting boots and a dagger. And I shoot another arrow mid. Unfortunately, that one does miss. It just barely missed. But at this point, I have an Infinity Edge to Trist's BF sword and pickaxe. So Elise engages. I wait a little bit too long to go help her. It was entirely my fault she got that low. We should have gotten those kills, but I didn't see it happening. I didn't play it very well. Yeah, college goes hard on Zed, but it's Zed, so nothing happens. Here's an interesting part. We decided that we saw Mumu, and Akali got way too deep, so we decided we'd go hard. Claptrap, Leona lands a super nice ult, and then I just get free damage. And because I have Infinity Edge and I'm so far ahead, I do absurd amounts of damage right now. Zed jukes back, and then I get that kill too. So at this point, I have 6 kills, 5 assists, and 82 farm. Trist only has 2 kills, 2 assists, and 67 farm. And if we actually look at the gold counts, right now I am up 3,000 gold on Tristana, and that's a whole lot of gold at 15 minutes. Now I just go back to farming because that's what I like to do on Ashe. This Ashe build is just to I maximize the farm and the late game potential rather than focusing on the early game. Here I make another mistake. I stay too long. Leona tries to save me, but it's just not quite enough. No, she's gonna die because never mind. She got out. Yeah, that was another big mistake by me. I overstayed my welcome by a lot, and I felt something was wrong, but I don't know. I just overstayed. At this point, I grabbed a Zeo when I'm back and finished my Zerker Greaves. It looks like I'm going Static Shiv right now, but I'm actually not. I'm building straight into a Phantom Dancer. I don't like Static Shiv on Ashe early game because I think you should maximize the effectiveness of Average Blade. And right now, Average Blade is giving me 400 gold, and Hawkshot's giving me 300 gold. So I've gotten 700 gold from that item and that passive. That's That's a whole lot of gold, especially early game. Their Wukong disrespects the arrow, stays in tower too long, and just dies to our entire team. But yeah, I just want to emphasize this game, my entire team's ability to peel for me. Like that alone, that black shield that Morgana has, makes me almost immune to a Mumu. See it. There's just a Mexican standoff in the middle. I'm just going to farm more because that's what I've been doing all game. And when I'm playing Ashe, I always make sure to keep an eye on my arrow cooldown because the arrow is just a huge, huge part of it. I think the arrow is the most game-changing ultimate in the game, considering its ability to engage from way across the map. Here a skirmish unfolds, and unfortunately I did not get that red buff. Had I gotten that red buff, we probably could have turned this and gotten more, or it would have gone better than we did. I dodge a thresh hook, and Morgana throws out a snare to help save me. We know we're a lot stronger than they are. If you look at the gold count, we're up 8k. Our Kali goes super deep over there, diving around. And here we split off. Morgana and Leona land great snares and stuns and whatnot, so I can just sit in the back and pick at them. An interesting fact about Ashe is that even though Frost Shot is supposed to take mana per hit, it does not on towers, and it makes a cooler sound and looks cooler. So I make sure to keep Frost Shot up on the towers. Morgana lands another great snare, and I get to tower dive. That was actually super risky considering Tristana was alive and could have killed me had she been anywhere close. And had she killed me, she could have turned onto the team, and she would have also gotten shutdown gold, considering at this point I'm 7-3-8 and on a rather large kill streak. Akali just goes hard on Wukong. She's Akali, she's really big. I just do what I do and farm. Here I buy my Phantom Dancer. I like that because it gives me a whole ton of mobility, attack speed, crit. I can walk through creeps, which is huge. I make a super big mistake there actually. I buy the Home Guard enchantment on my boots, which I did not want. I wanted the fur, and because of that you can't undo that because it immediately takes effect on Fountain. So I had to actually sell my Berserker Greaves and rebuy them with fur. So I lost quite a bit of gold on that, just by sheer stupidity. At this point, I have Infinity Edge, Avarice Blade, and Phantom Dancer to Triss, Infinity Edge, Berserkers, and Zeal Dagger. So yeah, my damage right now is just absurd. I hit Triss with an arrow. I shouldn't be in the front line. Even though Morgana is protecting me with Black Shield, I still shouldn't be up in the front. It does go well, but that's just because, like I said, my team is built around me. Like the Leona that just stands in front and takes all the damage to save me and get me out. My team did a super good job of protecting me this entire game. It looks like I'm doing a lot, whilst I am doing good damage and positioning pretty well. My team is the reason I'm staying alive and doing a lot of the damage I'm doing, because they have lots and lots of CC and then even some damage amplifiers. This is another key positioning play. I like to keep myself around this tree this fight, just because it kept me out of the danger of Wukong ult, and then I could also control Mumu's ult, because they have their ability to wombo combo. This team is just, it's crazy, and I know that if we get caught by it, it's not going to go well. So I try to keep my positioning and like keep that in mind throughout this. So there Amumu goes in, everyone goes in, they hard engage, but this is really good right now because they're low. Even though they are close to base, I know that they're going to be cocky because they just took out Leona. So we just get to walk into their base. Akali jumps in, kills Trist. She keeps going hard. I hit an arrow on Amumu, which I didn't think I would hit. I just kind of threw an arrow and it hit Amumu. So we got the tower dive. I barely survived this Wukong thanks to barrier. Actually, let's go back so you can see that. I hit the arrow, run in, tank a tower shot, and have all these creeps on me plus Wukong ult is super scary. But barrier saved me barely. I would have been much better off, But right now my only lifesteal is the 2% or 4% I have from runes. It's 4%. That's all the lifesteal I have, which is why when I go back, I think it's this back, I pick up a Vamp Scepter. Yeah, I get my Static Shiv, and then I sell my Crystalline Flask for a Vampiric Scepter, because there's no reason for me to have Crystalline right now, especially if I can sell it to buy the only reason that I had it. Because right now Vamp Scepter is doing way more for me than Crystalline would ever do. So I'm just going mid right now, trying to keep the lanes pushed up, because now that I got my Static Shiv and Vamp Scepter, my wave clear is crazy and I don't really have to fear anybody. Except maybe a chain CC from Thresh and Mumu. Our team isn't really grouping that well, so I ping to call everyone over, but they think we need Dragon right now, which I kind of disagree with, considering we have so much pressure applicable in the mid lane right now. But after Dragon, we all group up and we head over here. Late game Tristana is super scary, but I think late game Ashe is even scarier. We engage a fight over here. I get to come from the back. I whip an arrow, but I get free shots on Tristana, which means she just explodes. And I get to come and help with Wukong. Unfortunately, he flashed the wall. And then here's a really bad mistake by me. I flashed the wall straight into an Amumu and a Zed. Luckily though, Morgana's there to get my back again and get me out alive. And I think I actually pick up both these kills. Oh, nope, did not get the Zed one. But yeah, like I said, that's another great example of my team carrying me. Or not even carrying, just peeling for me and helping me do all the damage I'm doing. Thresh's up, and I'm not to the point where I can disrespect their entire team right now. Eventually in this game, I do get to that point. But right now, I still got to be careful. I didn't realize that, so I died. That was another stupid mistake by me. I got cocky, shouldn't have been out there at all. With no backup. I don't know why I did that. It was just a really bad play. Spawn timers are huge at this point. So yeah, when I went back, I picked up a Bloodthirster. I'm almost full build. My damage is kind of crazy right now. I'm just going to go mid and fill up the Bloodthirster. Just see how strong I can get. I fear the Wombo combo, especially because right now Akali and I are really the only damage threats. Morgana does some, but she's mainly utility. Again, I throw a terrible ult out with it entirely. But at this point, it doesn't really matter. We can just push on to inhib. Inhib, the same thing applies. It doesn't take mana when I'm auto-attacking him with Frost Shot. So I just like to make it look cool and have some style. A late game thing that I do with Ashe to conserve mana is there's no cooldown on Frost Shot, the toggle Q, which means that between every single auto I can toggle. Morgana hits a Great Black Shield and I have Barrier, which keeps me safe from Mumu. His ult applies with the damage, but not the CC from it. So yeah, I can toggle between my shots frosting or not, because that means I'll conserve mana and I can still slow people for the full 2 seconds. That's not like the late game. Here I tank way too many turret shots and get really close to dying. Luckily, at least it's a nice stun to save me. But then she does die in a tragic course of events. So yeah, this game went pretty well for me. I think it went pretty well for the whole team. I definitely couldn't have done this on my own though. I definitely give this one up to the team. They played super well, positioned super well, and helped me carry the game. Thanks for watching, guys.